Why is it so easy for money to flow into my life? Why do I attract wealth effortlessly? Why am I a magnet for financial opportunities? Why do I always make the right financial decisions? Why is wealth my natural state of being? Why do I easily manifest multiple income streams? Why am I always at the right place at the right time for money? Why do people love paying me for my gifts? Why does money come to me in unexpected ways? Why am I constantly increasing my net worth? Why is it so easy for me to attract my soulmate? Why do I effortlessly radiate love and receive it back? Why am I a magnet for healthy, loving relationships? Why does the universe align me with my perfect partner? Why do I always feel deeply loved and cherished? Why is my love life filled with joy and harmony? Why do I attract people who respect and adore me? Why is my relationship divinely guided? Why does love find me in the most magical ways? Why am I always in the right relationship at the right time? Why is it so easy for me to maintain my ideal weight? Why does my body heal quickly and effortlessly? Why do I naturally crave healthy foods? Why is my energy always high and vibrant? Why does my dream body manifest so easily? Why do I enjoy exercising and moving my body? Why am I always getting stronger and healthier? Why does my body reflect my highest self? Why is my health perfectly balanced? Why do I effortlessly glow from the inside out? Why is it so easy for me to learn new languages? Why do I absorb knowledge like a sponge? Why am I a fast and efficient learner? Why do new skills come to me effortlessly? Why is my memory sharp and reliable? Why do I master everything I put my mind to? Why does learning feel fun and exciting? Why am I always improving effortlessly? Why do I retain information with ease? Why is my mind a powerful tool for growth? Why is luck always on my side? Why do miracles happen for me daily? Why does the universe conspire in my favor? Why am I always guided to the best opportunities? Why do blessings chase me effortlessly? Why is my life filled with divine synchronicities? Why do I attract the perfect circumstances? Why is everything working out for my highest good? Why do I always win in the best ways? Why is my path divinely protected? Why is success so natural for me? Why do opportunities always find me effortlessly? Why am I always recognized for my talents? Why does my career path unfold perfectly? Why do I attract high-paying clients with ease? Why is my work always fulfilling and abundant? Why do promotions come to me effortlessly? Why am I a magnet for success? Why does my dream job find me easily? Why do I always exceed my own expectations? Why am I always at peace, no matter what? Why does joy flow through me effortlessly? Why is my mind always calm and clear? Why do I attract peaceful experiences? Why is happiness my default state? Why do I release negativity so easily? Why does my soul radiate contentment? Why am I always in the right mindset? Why do I wake up feeling blessed every day? Why does life always work out in my favor? Why is it so easy for me to travel the world? Why do I always find the best flight deals? Why does money flow in for my dream vacations? Why am I always welcomed in new places? Why do I attract luxurious travel experiences? Why is my passport full of amazing stamps? Why do I feel at home everywhere I go? Why does the universe fund my adventures? Why do I always meet amazing people abroad? Why is my life filled with freedom and exploration? Why do creative ideas flow to me effortlessly? Why am I constantly inspired? Why do I manifest artistic success so easily? Why does my creativity impact the world? Why do people love my unique expression? Why am I always in the right creative flow? Why do I attract collaborations effortlessly? Why is my imagination limitless? Why do my projects always succeed? Why is my creativity a source of abundance? Why is my connection to God source so strong? Why do I receive divine guidance effortlessly? Why am I always protected by the universe? Why do miracles happen in my life daily? Why is my intuition always accurate? Why do I attract spiritual teachers easily? Why does my soul evolve so quickly? Why am I always in alignment with my purpose? Why do synchronicities guide me perfectly? Why is my faith unshakable?